Bianca Barnes is my guest today on Faith in an Ever-Changing World. You're going to love her. Bianca is a wife, a mother, and a devoted follower of Christ. She's also a fellow podcaster. She hosts the Anchored podcast. So, this is who we have on today, Bianca Barnes. And here she comes. I'm gonna, hi, Bianca.
Hi, Janet. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, you're so welcome. Let me get your trumpet played here.
I love that.
Awesome. That's great. Oh, wow. Just thank you again for joining me. And it's so good to see you again. You know, we're fellow podcasters, and just so good to see you.
So good to see you too. It's so
Ah,
good to be back.
oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Now, we all have seasons of our lives, and I like to always ask at some point in the podcast about your season of life. What kind of season are you in now, and how is faith helping you with it?
It's funny that you asked that because the season that I'm in right now is a season of walking by faith and not by sight.
Mm,
Yeah, and I'm so glad
yes.
that you asked that question because
Oh,
it's so important to know what season we're in. And that's
mm,
something that God wants us to know. And He's prompted me to ask Him that a few times. And so, yeah, I'm in this season where I'm just walking by faith and I don't know all the answers. I don't know the who, what, why, when, where,
right.
before doing it and before doing whatever God has called me to do. And I just have to have that faith to do it. And I think the perfect example is of Noah, right? He built the ark
That's
before the
right.
rain came. So it's just one of those seasons where I'm just really relying on just trusting God and believing that He will do what He said He's
Mhm.
going to do, and just being obedient. And yeah, it's been fun.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, that trusting in God is
Yes.
is part of faith as well.
Yeah.
Uh, so it's just trusting Him in the unknown, with the unknown as
Yes.
well as with the known.
Yeah.
Now, I know that you have been called to do something kind of special, something you've never done before. Tell us about that.
Yeah, yeah. So this past summer, God called me to write a script, a screenplay,
Ha!
and
For a
I never
film.
would have thought that. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. For
who would have thought?
who would have thought? Yeah, so that's been fun. I've been doing that. So it all kind of started with this idea. I thought I would just do like a 5 minute quick short film.
Short film,
And
yeah.
I thought, yeah, I could record it. I was planning a trip to Texas with my family. I thought I can record this scene, this like vision that God had given me of this certain scene. It was this amazing scene. I thought, well, we can record it on my iPhone maybe. And I just thought I could do it with my family really quick. But then God took that and He expanded it and He started giving
Wow.
me just the whole storyline and character names and all of these amazing, just different things to add. And so before I knew it, I had this whole script, and
Mm,
it's probably about like a 50-minute long movie. So it's right in between a feature and a short film. But
yeah.
yeah. And so He's just kind of guided me step by step through the process. And it's exciting.
Well, now, can you tell us about some of the characters or about the theme maybe of the movie? Just a little bit?
Yeah, so the movie is called Strong Like Simon.
Yeah.
And so the whole point of the movie is really to show not only that God is with us, but how God is with us. And this
Mm,
is portrayed through a very special character. I don't want to give too much away about this character, but he's very special. And so he kind of the main character of the story is a young man named Simon who sustains a very critical injury during a football game.
Hmm.
And so his family's life kind of just unravels at the
Right.
seams once he gets this injury. And his mother, Laura, especially, is having a very difficult time just coping with this. And she actually
Mm.
blames one of Simon's classmates for the incident. And so she is really just struggling to forgive.
Mm.
And so this very mysterious miracle working teacher
Wow.
kind of comes on the scene at the perfect time, and he
Mhm.
just helps everyone involved in the situation and everyone in this small town of Pine Grove, Mississippi. And it's so exciting. God actually, he wrote the whole thing. He gave me all the ideas,
He
everything. I mean,
downloaded
I
everything.
he downloaded everything. And there's times where I was writing and I was laughing. There's times I was writing, I was getting goosebumps. And, it's just the scenes that he put in this movie are just miraculous. And I'm just so excited to see it on screen, and to see these characters come to life.
Oh, wonderful. Well, now you did send me a concept trailer,
Yes.
so I would love to play that. Now, a
Sure.
concept
Yeah.
trailer is not the trailer for the
Right.
actual movie, but
Yes.
it gives you the idea
Yes.
of the concept of
Yes.
what the movie
Exactly.
is going to be about. So
Yes.
let me play that now.
Awesome. Pine Grove, Mississippi. It's the town I've lived in my whole life. Some folks might look at us and think we're just a small, sleepy town with nothing to offer, or that we've been forgotten. But I know that someone is watching over us. He was there the day our town was born, when our boundary lines were established and our foundation set in place. And he was there the first day I opened my bakery. Some say it's the finest in all of Mississippi. And he was there the night my life turned upside down. My son, Simon, was the finest wide receiver this town had ever seen. He'd been practicing since he was just a little boy, and he had dreams of one day playing in college. But my son will never play football again. That dream was taken from him. And I had to learn to forgive. And I had to hold on when it seemed like all hope was lost. And it was in my darkest hour, when my world was falling apart, that I looked up to the heavens and I prayed. And it was in that moment when I realized that God was with me. He had always been with me. He was never going to leave. He mended my relationships, and he healed my broken heart. And he didn't just do it for me. He did it for many others in Pine Grove. And he didn't stop until the work was finished.
Wow. That's amazing, Bianca. Well
Thank you.
done. Oh my goodness. Yes. And such a range of emotions too. uh, that we'll see in this, and hope, of course. We need
Yes.
more films like this that gives us hope, and
Absolutely.
that God has a purpose
Yes.
for us.
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. That's really just the whole theme. And I really think that what God wants to show is just how he's with us in the simple moments, in
Mhm.
the, our worst moments in our darkest hour, and how he's with us in the very, simple, the mundane moments too. Like,
Mhm.
he's always with us. He's always present in ways that we don't always see, in ways that we don't
Right,
always recognize.
right, right.
Yeah.
And He's
Mhm.
just always with us, just
Yes,
always
he's
with us, and
always
always
with us.
willing to listen. You know,
Yes.
that is someone. If
Yeah.
you don't have anyone to talk to, and this may be a word for someone today,
Yeah.
but if you don't have anyone that you feel like you can really talk to, you can always talk to God.
Yes.
And it's easy. It's just a conversation. You just open up your heart.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's and that'll start that
Yeah. Yes.
relationship, with the Lord. Oh,
Yeah.
nothing can
Mm.
beat that.
Nothing at all. Yeah.
So, how
Mm.
did watching the trailer make you feel?
I mean, I love it. I'm amazed because, I mean, again, I have to give God all the glory for that. That's all really stock images online, and each and every single one of those videos, um, every one of those clips, it pertains to the film, and that's
Mm.
why I kind of chose those. There's
Yes.
scenes in the movie, characters that,
Mhm.
that's what I kind of envisioned when
Right.
writing. So there's a purpose behind every single one of those scenes, really, and you'll see that in the movie. But I kind of worked with what I had. But I'm amazed by it because when I first announced, I had seen like a chat GPT, I'll be honest, a chat GPT, like a picture, like a rendering of just the movie cover. And that inspired me. After seeing those characters that I had envisioned in my mind, I cried when I saw this movie cover. I because I could actually see these characters that I had been writing, they had come to life, and there they were.
Oh,
And so that came at a point in time where I was really unsure about this whole thing. I didn't really know, like, wasn't really certain, even though God had confirmed it so many ways, and so many miraculous ways, that he wanted me to do this. Seeing that, it did something in me. It kind of ignited something in me. And
yeah.
so right after that, I said, well, I want to take it the next step further. What do I do? And so then I thought about doing just like a storyboard type thing with just some more chat GPT images. But I
Mm.
will be honest, throughout this process, God has not wanted me to use chat GPT. I
Yeah.
sometimes go, it's like, I
You are
enjoy
the
using it.
creator of this. Yes, you're the creative person.
God's not sharing the glory with anybody, and definitely
That's
not
right.
AI. So I have not been able to use Chat GPT for anything. So even that movie cover, that's like personal. I didn't share that with anybody. So after that, God had me go into, finding these images online and just creating this beautiful trailer. And it all
Mm.
came together so wonderfully. I love it. And right after that, I said, okay, God, well, what do I do now? What's the next step? I already told everybody,
Yeah.
I wrote the script, I got it sent to the copyright office. Like, what do I do next? And so I love how when God calls us to do something, he takes us step by step.
He
He
does.
provides, and he might not show us he gave me visions, honestly, years ago, of this time in my life, but I didn't understand it then, because I had been praying about the podcast. Well, God, what do you want to do with the podcast?
Right.
And so then he was giving me visions of me standing in the back of a movie theater. He did it twice. And I thought, what does this have to do with podcasting? And I would see radio, I would
Do
see
you
these
go
radio
to a
waves.
theater and actually film a podcast?
Yeah, I'm like, "What? This has nothing to
What do we
do."
do?
And in one of the visions, I saw radio waves on the big screen, and so I didn't know that years later I'd be like making films. And so yeah, I love this story. I love how God has just worked everything together and how he's provided everything, every step of the way, everything I've prayed about, everything I've asked him for, he's delivered. And so, yeah.
And it all becomes a part of you.
Yeah. Oh, I love this journey. This is
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
Being creative and getting to learn all these new things, all these new tips and tricks, and just, I mean, it kind of has just taken up a lot of my free time aside
Yeah.
from
Yeah. Yeah.
with, yeah.
It's like reading a book, you can't put it down.
Yes.
It's sort of like that, when you oh my goodness. Well, that
Yeah.
is wonderful. Anything else that you're working on? Now, your podcast, you still will be doing some podcasts maybe along the way, or
Yeah, yeah, I think as God kind of, calls me to it, and whatever, I just follow whatever God, wherever he leads,
right?
whatever doors he opens,
Yeah.
that's what I kind of pursue. So he closed the door on podcasting for a while because he wanted me to do this screenplay. And I kept putting it off and putting it off and putting it off.
Yeah.
So, no,
Yeah.
I've got podcasts, I've got guests scheduled, I've got to work on that,
Yeah.
editing and all that stuff, and he closed that door, and
Mm,
he closed it around October of
yeah.
last year.
Wow.
And then I still was not ready to give it up,
Yeah.
and I just kept praying, and I wanted to make sure that I was doing what God wanted me to do and going where he
Exactly.
was leading me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I kept, kind of scheduling interviews, and I wasn't getting as many. And
Yeah.
that's the thing about God, is that whenever he calls you to do something, he will provide. And he was
He will.
providing all of the guests for the podcast. I didn't have to,
Um,
call anybody, say, hey, do you want to be on my podcast? I never had to
yeah.
ask anybody. He was just
Yeah.
sending them, and very consistently, and sending them, um, not sending me too many that I was overwhelmed, but just enough that I could handle. And so that's what he
Exactly.
was doing, but then when he stopped sending them, I was like, well, what's going on? And
Right.
so then I tried getting guests, and it just was not the same. And I think when God takes his hand off of a situation, you can really tell. And I felt in my spirit that he was calling me to something else. And I love how with God, a lot of times for me, things happen in October. That's always October and January are very special months for me, because that's when God,
Mhm.
he had me start the podcast in October,
Yeah.
and then he kind of ended it in October. And in January, he usually calls me to a new thing. And so, yeah, so he had kind of stopped in October. I stopped getting all of those guests. I had quite a bit of time where I wasn't doing any podcasting.
Right.
And
Right.
then and I still wasn't working on the film or the script, because I wasn't, but now that I've got the concept trailer, I'm like, okay, now it's like, go, go, go. Like, this is
Yeah.
the direction he
Yep.
has me going in.
It's time. Let's
Yeah,
get it
it's
on. Let's
time.
go.
Yes. Yeah. So
Moving
hopefully,
forward.
hopefully I'll be able to do some more podcasting here and there. I mean, I truly believe that God will still have me doing it. It's just, it may
Right.
not be with interviews. It may be just me
It,
sometimes.
yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Because when he gives you a word, he'll let you know,
Oh
and
yeah.
and
Yeah.
and how to get that word out. So
Mhm.
yeah. And
Mhm.
sometimes it is just through you yourself
Yeah.
instead
Yeah.
of having a guest. So yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
All right. Great. Well, and God gives us confirmation about things too.
Mhm.
When our
Yes,
seasons
he does.
change, there are
Absolutely.
confirmations about that. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
well, this is such a wonderful thing that you're doing. And
Thank you.
now, where can people? Let's get to your link here. Now, Bianca has a link tree, and this will get you to all the places where she is, where you can connect with her. And so, if and I will have that link with her bio. So don't worry about trying to write it all down. So, but that is her link tree link. Um, Now, one more thing. What would you advise? I know you're new and fresh about being in the becoming a filmmaker. But what would be something that you might advise a someone who maybe God has given an idea uh, to do a film? What would be something new out of the gate that you could advise them to do?
Yeah, definitely. If it's a God thing, I would just say to just take it step by step, and just follow wherever God leads, wherever, God opens a door for you, just kind of go
Right,
through that door and allow him to do it. I know that we have a tendency sometimes to want to, take things and do them ourselves, but we can't do it without God. God gives us this big of a dream because he's the only one who can really make it happen. So just kind of trust him throughout the process and just lean in, lean into
yes,
his voice and
yes.
just enjoy the process. Just don't get overwhelmed. I know it can be overwhelming sometimes because you're looking at
Yeah.
all the things thinking, how is this even going to happen? But I remember just praying right after I released a concept trailer, and I just said, God, please, please make a way for this to
Yes,
happen. And he
yes,
said, I already have. So he's
yeah,
already made a way for
that's
you. It's
right,
already going to happen. And
that's
just
right.
don't look too far ahead of the future. Just take it day by day, step by step. And
And
God
God's
will,
timing is the
yes,
best timing.
yes,
So
yes,
in his timing, it will happen. That's right.
yes,
Great
exactly.
advice, great advice. We just and
Thank you.
continue to ask God for
Yeah.
direction and the next
Yes.
step. Okay, I've done
Yes.
this. Now, what's
Yes.
next?
Exactly. That's the exact way to do it.
Yes, yes. Oh my goodness. All right. Thank you, Bianca, so much for being with me today and for sharing all of this new adventure that
Yeah.
you are in season of your life that you are
Yeah.
in. And
Yeah.
I know that God is going to continue to direct you in the steps uh, that you need to take to
Yeah.
finish and to finish well. So thank you so much.
Thank
Enjoy
you.
always having you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. And it's always such a pleasure to be here. So thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. And thank you all for joining me and would encourage you to move forward in faith and to always keep looking up where our help comes from. God bless you.
God bless you.